Hi, CMattDye here. Thanks for joining. Thanks for checking out the video. Sorry I don't have my face in this one. I'm trying to get a quick video out, doing a lot of work today, but I wanted to get a video for Technical Tuesday and talk about the markets a little bit. Been getting a lot of questions. What am I thinking? Do I think this? Do I think that? Blah, blah, blah. So I want to get into it. So let's start with the overall crypto market. And this is the total market cap. We are slightly under $1 trillion market cap right now. And we can see this go a couple of different ways. Of course, numbers on the charts, this is Elliott wave. So this could be a 5 up here, which would mean this is a 1 coming into a 2. Elliott wave impulse moves go in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 being the end. So if this is a 1 up here, then this would be a 2, and that would take us into a crazy bull market in about 6 to 12 months. If this is an ABC here, then it's still going to be a little while, but this would be the last leg up. I'm starting to think that this is actually a 5 up here. So this is a 1, and this is coming down into a 2. That's what I'm starting to think here. That's a little far off because I still think there's 6 to 13 months left of a bear market. The 2020 era, right now where we're at, is going to be a real debt reorganization decade. Why is that? The central banks have been experimenting for the past decade, maybe probably a little bit longer actually. So they've been experimenting with their monetary supply, with their fiscal policies, and that's going to come back to bite all of them. So this is going to be the decade where they're going to start pulling back a little bit. They're going to stop experimenting, and rates are going to start going higher, which they already are. And that's going to bring in crypto. It's going to be different for DeFi because DeFi you get so much. Well, the yields are going to start increasing on the global market. So that's going to interfere a little bit, but it shouldn't be a big deal. But anyway, let's get into what I'm actually thinking as far as the charts are concerned. So I'm pretty much a technical guy. I look at fundamentals a little bit, but they don't matter that much. Why? Because the technicals tell you where price is going, and that's what we're doing. We're trading price. If we were caring about fundamental stuff, that's what we would talk about. But I don't think that really matters that much. I know you get a lot of views and stuff like that talking about fundamental stuff. I don't really care. That's not what I do. I think it's a waste of time. However, some of it does matter, like I just talked about, how the debt reorganization is going to happen over this decade, maybe going into next decade, just because all of the experimentation with the money supply around the globe. It's not just one country. Every country is doing it. If everyone does something bad, should you do something bad? I don't think so. I try to be the best person I can be, and that a lot of times it means going away from the trend. But anyway, let's get into the charts. So I'm seeing this a couple different ways, and that could be support here and a move up into this vicinity, anywhere from like 1.4, 1.7 trillion. And then we could get a move back down. Maybe that move comes down here and it comes up again. And then from there, it comes back down and makes another low. And that would all but 100% show that this is a 1 here. And this is a 2 where whatever happens, happens. At the moment, I have this on the chart until I don't, but it's beginning to look kind of like that a little bit. It can keep breaking down here. So it came down here. It might come up, close to that $1 trillion mark and then come back down and make one more low. So that would come down here. And then from there, we can get that move up and then eventually find that resistance and come down again. So I'm thinking one of those two scenarios are going to play out. And how would that look in an Elliott wave perspective? This would be like an ABC. We get to move up correctively, and then we get that move down again. If it's going to actually make a new low from here, then it would be an AB. It would be a WX, YX, and a Z. So that's what I would look at on that if that's what was going to play out, which is actually the same look as Bitcoin. So let's go into Bitcoin real quick. And let's fix these charts. Okay, so with Bitcoin, it literally is the same as it would be a WX, YX, and then a Z. This is going to be in 3 waves. This you can argue is 5 waves. This you can argue, but this is pretty ugly. You know, this looks like either an A or a W, and either of those can be 3 waves. It's fine. This is strong in certain parts, but it's very ugly. But this is the same thing as what I'm looking at with the total market cap. And the reason is Bitcoin is a big part of the total market cap. You know, Bitcoin, Ethereum are the 2 majors. You know, Cardano is becoming a major, or it already is. Polygon, Solana, Binance. I see those as the majors. Everything else is like altcoin status. And, you know, it is what it is. You know, that's the way I look at them. So Bitcoin, I'm looking at the same exact way. You know, this here, I'm looking for a long right now, and that would propel price up. The other option, price can come up a little bit, and then it will reject and make another low down near 17, maybe 16,000, possibly slightly lower. And that would be that WXYXZ pattern. So that's what that will turn into. If it's just a 3-wave pattern to the downside, this comes down, and then we would see that move up, and that would take us around 28, 32,000, maybe a little bit higher eventually. But that's what I'm looking at with Bitcoin. Now as we go down to Ethereum, I'm looking for something very similar. So this could be the end of this whole move, or it could be just sideways, and this could be coming into a 4. So it could be like 3 and a 4 going into a 5, or this could be done. This could be the 1, and then we're making a 2, and I think we have a long time to go. You know, I'm talking 6, 13 months. I think it's going to fall somewhere in there to when we actually find a low. So if this makes a low here, that's fine. I think it's going to come up and then come down again, and it might not make a low, but it's going to come close to it. So that's what I'm looking for with Ethereum. So if it's going to go higher from here, it's probably going to run into anywhere from 2,250 to 3,000, but it's going to be choppy on the way up. It's not just going to go straight up. And this is not the low to make a new high. That's not what I'm saying at all, because that's not what I believe. I think the probability is very, very low for something like that. It could happen. Anything can happen, but it's just not what I'm looking for. So right now, Ethereum can find support here, move up, and then come down again to make that low, to make that WXYXZ. That pattern seems way too convenient. I know it's a rare pattern. It's a more rare pattern, but it just seems, you know, too convenient of something. So I'm looking for support to push into a long, and really just waiting to see what that can turn into and what it will turn into. Like I said, anywhere from 2250 to 3000 can be it. So that's kind of what I'm looking for. Minimum I'm looking for right now is at 1600 level, and then once it gets there, we can reassess what it can do, because we're looking at a daily chart. We're looking at longer term numbers, so this isn't something that's going to happen tomorrow. It's obviously longer term, so that's what I'm looking for right now. But if it's going to reject, it's probably going to reject it. If it does come back up, it's probably going to reject anywhere between that 1530 to 1650 area, and then from there come down and make that new low. And if it does make that low, I would really think that this is a 1 and then coming into a 2. And so it'll make that low, it'll come up, then it'll come down, and that 2 will end, and then it'll go into the third wave, which will happen probably going into the summer of next year. That's what I'm thinking right now. So those are my thoughts on that. Now let's go to Cardano. Cardano is a little bit of a different animal, and I'm a big fan of Cardano, but it is what it is. It's a little bit of a different animal. So if we look at it, we had this move here, nice move, and that took us into a little over $3 per token. And then it just came down pretty heavily, and we want to look at that and see what that is. It's pretty ugly. There's no way you could say that this is an impulsive wave down. Impossible. Very low, very low probability, I'll say. I did say nothing was impossible earlier. But watching this, I think, it's obviously making a new low here. I've been looking at that low 30-cent level for a long time, mid to low 30-cent level, and it's coming there now. It's at that mid 30-cent level, which is another way to say 35 cents, I guess. So now what are we going to look for? We're making a new low in Cardano. We're not making a new low in Bitcoin or Ethereum, but we're making a new low in Cardano. New low of the year. So I think they can come down a little bit more, and I'm watching that 20 to 25 cent level. If it breaks 20 to 25 cents, I think is a very big area to keep an eye on. Right now, 32 cents is a big level. So if it breaks 32 cents, watch out for the low 20s. So that's what I'm looking for with Cardano. I think it does have a very bright future, and I think in the next bull run it could easily get $6, $8, maybe $10. But that's quite a ways off. Cardano already has DeFi. They're going to get some more DeFi, some big DeFi players at the end of this year, early next year, and that's going to spur a lot of growth as well. A lot of Ethereum, Solana people are coming into Cardano right now, into their CNFT market, and those people are going to help grow that. And the people already building, the projects already building on Cardano are, getting to a point where they're ready to release some stuff. So I think that's going to really help fundamentally. But technically, I'm thinking anywhere down here, 20-25 cent range, if it breaks 32 cents. So keep an eye on 32 cents. That's going to be very important. Next, let's go to Matic or Polygon. And I have Polygon as this is a wave 1 in the longer term. So it started way over here in 2019, and then this is our finalization of our wave 1 right here. And now we're coming down and getting a nice pop off of that. So I think this is that pop that's going to eventually find some resistance, come back down. But the way it's moving right now is very correctively, which tells me it can come up a little bit more. And that might be that 140 to, I don't know, might actually up here in the high $1 range. So almost to $2 it could come up to. And then from there we could get some rejection. And then most likely it's going to come up, reject, come down, find support, come up again, and then come down, and then find that bottom wherever it is. It doesn't have to make a new low. It can always, you know, come close but not quite to a new low. So that's something that can happen. So we do want to pay attention to that with Matic here, but you know, it can take a while to do so. You know, it can easily go into next year and, you know, take its time. So that's where I'm at with Matic right now. Now let's go to Solana. And you guys know how I enjoy Solana. Excuse me. But with Solana right now, looking at it, it is at 29.68 at the moment. When it came down before, I was really paying attention to that 22 to 29 level or zone, whatever. And it did hold that, and it did push off of that. But now you're getting that, it's just starting to get weak, just like Cardano is weak. It's not as weak as Cardano, but it is weak. So I would say you still want to keep an eye on that 22 area. It's still going to be very, very crucial. So if it holds above that, good. But if it breaks it, I know before I was talking about if it breaks $22, it's going to 10. I still think that if it breaks 22, it's going to 10, maybe lower. But is it likely to break that $10 level? I mean that $22 level. So I think right now I'm watching this as very, very big support. And I would even go higher. I would say, well, yeah, 22 is a good number. But holding above 22, and this can do the same thing of Ethereum and Bitcoin, which is it doesn't really have a good setup. So there's no good setup at the moment. But if it were to shoot up, it could easily get to, you know, $60, $80, but then roll back over and then start pushing up in a choppy fashion, and then that 120, 140 will probably be pretty decent resistance. That's what I'm thinking at the moment. And of course this could be very, very wrong. This is just me looking at a chart, saying my thoughts. But that's kind of what I'm thinking at the moment. If everything does start going up like what I'm thinking, Solana could very easily go with it. So that's kind of what I'm thinking with that. Now let's go to Binance. And Binance, I do like Binance a lot. I would say long term, I like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, Polygon, Binance. Out of everything I'm talking about today, those are my favorites. Solana is going to be good just because there's a lot of money behind it. I don't really like it at all myself personally, but am I going to invest in some when it goes lower? Yes, because it is going to be good long term, you know, but you know, I'm good selling it whenever the opportunity does arise. So Binance, I like Binance here. You know, this move up was interesting. This move down was very, very corrective. I do think maybe it can come down again. And I want to keep an eye on that 230, 240 zone. And then it can go up, you know, that 400, 440, maybe 450, 460. It can come up in that range up there. And then after it does that, I want to watch and see what it can do from there, because I'm thinking maybe it comes up, gets that rejection, comes down, finds support, and then it can chop higher. That's a possibility. I don't think this is going to run and make a new low from here. It could, but I don't see that. I really think it's going to find support and push higher. That's really what I'm thinking right now, just because this is very corrective. I don't really, see too much. If it can run a little bit lower and find that support, that would be totally fine. But I do think it does push up, and then from there, I want to take a wait and see approach with it. I'm looking at this as being a W, X, and a Y. I could be totally wrong, and this could be the end of this move. So this could be a 1, just like a fifth wave that just didn't make it past the third. That does happen. So that could be what this is. I think most likely this is an X wave, a W, X, and a Y. And then we get another move up, which is still part of our ugly triangle. And then it comes back down. And when I say triangle, it's not a pattern, really. It's just really ugly. And there's what else? What other shape would you call it? But anyway, that's what I'm looking at with Binance. I really think it's going to go higher from here. Does it go a little lower first? Does it not? But I am looking for it to go higher. XRP is, let me zoom out, talk about everything with XRP. Okay, so XRP, I'm looking at this as a W, an X, and a Y. And I know I've talked about several times the X being over here. I've talked about that several times. And, right now we do have XRP moving up. Is it going to go up here? I think the probability is very low. And I think X could be over here. However, with XRP, there's a lot of fundamental stuff affecting it, and it could very easily have a piece of fundamental news and just pop up. So I'm not shorting XRP. I've actually never shorted it in my life, but because you do have a lot of fundamental reasons that could fundamental events that could happen, and it could happen randomly and just spur price higher. You do have the possibility of being able to get long something just to see it go higher. Now, I know I talked about over here when it came down, I talked about seeing it around that 23 maybe 17 to 25 cent mark. I don't remember the exact number that I used before, but I did want to see it come a little bit lower. That's not what's happened yet. And now we're seeing it come up a little bit. And really, to glean any information, I really need to go into an hourly chart. So that's what I'm going to do right here. And so far, this is where we're at. So until it breaks this low, which is at 44.035, so basically 44 cents. Until it breaks that, it can still find support here. However, because it's come so low, it's looking super, super ugly. So it is possible that it can come up here, and it'll probably come up into this range here, find that resistance. That is possible. Let's zoom out here a little bit more so we get some more price action. And all right, so this is where we're at. So we had price move up, it came down, came up, came down, and it's just really choppy. It's super choppy here. Because this moved up, I expect price to come a little lower here, around maybe 38 to 42 cents, 38 cents to 42, maybe 43 cents, somewhere in there. So I do expect it to come down a little bit more. It needs to kind of stay below 48.5 cents. So I'll say 48 cents just to make it simple. It needs to stay below 48 cents, and then it can make another low here. And then whenever it makes that low, it can push up a little bit. It would be a little bit ugly, and I would think 65 cents would probably be probably maintain it. I'm going to jump out to a daily chart and look at that in a minute. But that's kind of what I would think just looking at this right now. If it did come down and break that 38.5 cent level, then it can come down to new lows. That's kind of what I'm watching here. Let me go out to a daily really quick. And okay, we're at the daily, and let's see. Yeah, we do have, it's not strong, that 54.5 cent resistance level. It's not super strong, but it is affecting price. So you have to look at it because it is affecting price. And because of that, you have to watch 41.5 cents as being a support level. Now, if that breaks 41.5 cents, and I know I talked about 38 cents, I still think that's important, but 41 seems to be more important as far as a daily chart goes. So we're going to watch that 41.5 cent level. If that breaks, 38 cents might be a little more likely to break. So that's what I'm going to keep an eye on. 54.5 cents is going to be important over the short term. Does price come up and hit it again? Does it bounce off it? What does it do? That's going to be kind of important. And then if it does hold that, I'd say 60 cents. I still think that level is a good resistance zone. But if it does break, it can run a little bit. So that's kind of what I'm watching with XRP. So, you know, it is what it is. But hopefully you guys did enjoy that. If you got something out of it, you can always leave a comment down below. If you like it, hit the like button. I'd appreciate that. Hit that bell notification so you can hear any more of my future videos. Anyway, with that, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Have a great rest of your day. I'll see you around the crypto markets. Take care.